So welcome to the Gunman Insta Live. Tonight, we have one of Ireland's finest warriors at influencer level coming on the live. He's one of the Celtic Irish fighters that are causing a storm on the influencer scene. This guy is a real bad man. He's heavy-handed, he's dangerous, and he is badding people up on the regular. I'm going to get this man on. This is Keith Burke, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you tune in. This guy, he looks apart and he fights apart. Let's just get him on. Hope you like this. The cat. Let's get Keith Burke in. Yes, Mr. Burke.
How are you, sir? You right?
You look eloquent.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I had to wear a cap today. I've got a bit of a biff growing underneath here. So I thought, as I did a fresh trim, so I thought I'd go with a cap. But you don't have to wear a cap. You've got a fine tattoo cap.
Yes, sir.
Look at that. That is fantastic.
So I wore the mustache for the occasion.
That's good to hear. Listen, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. It is an absolute honor to have you on the Gunman Insta Live. For those that do not know this man, he is a tattoo artist, social media influencer, internet personality, a heavy-handed Irish warrior in the ring. He tattoos his opponents with his big, heavy shots. This is Keith Burke, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, first of all, I've got to ask you, which one was your first tattoo?
I got my leg tattooed about almost 20 years ago, man. When I started getting tattooed, it was very different than it is now.
Yeah. Why?
Do you know what? I just grew up around it. A lot of like my uncles and shit had like proper sketchy ass 90s tattoos. I grew up a big wrestling fan, so the Undertaker obviously was sleeved up and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just love the culture, and that's what pretty much led me here. 2 decades later to be pretty much fully covered.
Yeah. So is there a part of you that isn't tattooed? Obviously your face, but are you literally fully?
Yeah, like I mean, I haven't got my ass cheeks or my balls done. they're intimidating enough as it is.
Have you actually got one on the old boy though? You know, you got your meat and two veg, but have you got one on the meat?
Nah, that's intimidating enough as it is.
Brilliant. So when did you decide to get your head tattooed? Is that quite daunting?
You know what, mate? I had like my hands and my neck and a couple of face tattoos done, and I had some. When I had hair, I had the sides of my head done and stuff. It was just natural progression, really.
Yeah.
And then I started to run out of space. And over the last couple of years, I've kind of just been collecting tattoos off of people I respect and admire.
Yeah.
I do a lot of the UK conventions and some of the North American ones.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of bopping around, and when I see someone, I'm a fan of their work.
Yeah.
I'll get a little banger. It's kind of like an elaborate passport stamp.
Yeah.
But one of my very close friends here in Dublin, it was like I wanted to get tattooed by him for years, and we just kept putting it off. And then I was like, man, like do my head. And he was like, all right, okay, sick. So he was excited about it. I was excited about it till it actually came to it.
Yeah.
We did it last year, yeah. But it was.
Is it addictive?
6 hours to line, 8 hours to color in. It was the shittest Monday I've ever had in my life.
Is it addictive?
You know what it is? You get to a certain stage where you just see space, you see gaps. And it's like it's like prime real estate. You got to get rid of the space.
Prime real estate. That's absolutely brilliant. So you're just like, oh no, I can see a little gap there. I'll have to go and get that sorted.
Yeah, like I got tattooed twice today.
Did you?
Yeah. So like, I
Let's
have
have
a studio here in Dublin, and a very good friend of mine has a studio just up the block. And I went up and got a little something off him. Was just kind of like hanging out and having a chat.
Yeah. What did you get? Can you show us? What did you get? Can you show us?
I can't right now. It's all covered up, but it'll be on my story tomorrow.
We'll be watching out for that. How many tattoos have you got?
I am a tattoo at this stage. I I've only got like the spaces I mentioned and one hamstring free, and that's it. Obviously, whatever you can see in my face is free. I haven't got the full space belly clap, but just yet. Yeah, not a whole heap of space left. Armpits, insides of my hands, feet, the whole lot.
Mate, you look the part. Listen, I have to get the tattooed questions out of the way because it is interesting for anyone joining us. But yeah, let's get into the fighting. Listen, why boxing for you? So you started off as a tattoo artist, and then you've gone into the boxing, into the influencer space. Why?
Well, to be honest with you, I grew up around a lot of professional boxing. The city I'm from has a rich history of pro boxers and current pro boxers. Then through tattooing, I started to tattoo a lot of the MMA and boxing athletes. Some Bellator fighters, Thomas Carthy, who's the heavyweight champion of Ireland, who's been on many Katie Taylor and Matchroom cards. So I have a personal relationship with a lot of boxers. And then, to be honest with you, mate, I went to the Prime card last year. And I was obviously aware of Dylan Dennis when Dylan was living in Dublin here and training with Connor. And I had a couple of beers. The Rugby World Cup was on at the same time. And little did I know, Chase Demore and Tempo Arts were in the ring fighting for the Misfits heavyweight belt. And I was just like joking with a couple of people there and my girlfriend. And I was like, I could fucking do this. But I flew to New York to tattoo a week later. And I met a man by the name of Eric Kelly. Eric Kelly is obviously Golden Gloves champion. He famously fought the likes of Andre Ward and stuff. Went for a training session with him and then just started looking for fights. And the rest is, as they say, history. So, to be honest with you, I kind of just got in it as a joke.
Really?
My content creation or influencer, whatever you want to call it, is I make permanent content every day. And I've been in magazines, I've been on TV and stuff for my main career, which is tattooing. So I suppose I kind of brought the audience in the eyes from that. Plus, a lot of my clients, a lot of my friends will be fight fans anyway. So I feel like they've supported me on this crazy journey.
So you got into boxing. It's unbelievable what boxing does for you. You know, that's quite an addictive sport as well, especially as you start getting good or start getting, you know, reasonable. It gets quite addictive. You get your first win and you want to fight again. You know, if you lose, you want to fight again because you've lost and you've got to redeem it. It's just an addictive sport. So can you tell the fight fans who know little about you or might not know about you, how many fights you've had? I've got you down as 2-0. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm currently 2-0. I fought, my last fight was in Florida in March. I fought on the boxing card over there, St. Patrick's weekend, which was great. I mean, traveling to North America for a week to fight and get paid for it is what everyone's dreams are made of, you know what I mean? Technically 2 knockouts in one fight. So I had knocked the chap out in the second round and the referee let it go to the third and then just knocked him out again. But you know what? You have to see the video to see what I'm talking about. I was supposed to fight next week, but sadly, myself and my partner were in a car accident earlier in August and I haven't been made medically fit to fight.
Yeah.
I had a couple of like injuries and stuff to my back and bits and pieces that just when I got concussed and stuff during the accident. So it's just not safe. You know what I mean? If you get knocked out in boxing, it's a mandatory 90-day suspension, which is 3 months. So I was doing everything in my power to try and get healthy and get ready to fight, whatever else. But, you know, at the end of the day, what's a couple of weeks to, you know, shaving some time off my life, you know what I mean?
Listen, it's fantastic that you're here to be able to talk to me today. When you get an accident, yeah, exactly, you're blessed, and it just puts things into perspective. Listen, why are Irish fighters so bloody good? You've had the likes of, you know, Barry McGuigan, Steve Collins, Carl Frampton, Conor McGregor, who you named, Katie Taylor. I'm going to do some injustice here and forget a few, but you're known as good fighters, the Irish. The Fighting Irish is even a saying. Why is that?
I mean, you're obviously going to have the stereotype that like, oh, the Irish love drinking, smoking, and fighting. You know what I mean? But I just think that as a nation of people, we've had to deal with so much adversity over all our time on this earth as a nation of Irish people. You know what I mean? And I just feel that like we were constantly putting the underdog corner or whatever else. And that kind of motivates people. You know what I mean? It's like you mentioned Conor a minute ago. You know, there's quotes of him being like, "Oh, I want to be UFC champion." They laughed at me.
Yeah.
I wanted to win a fight in the UFC. They laughed at me. You know what I mean? People said it couldn't be done or whatever else. And you know, I think that's what spurs us on. And I feel like we're all born naturally gifted with that bit of toughness. You know what I mean? And we have like that kind of we might be the underdogs. We have a chip on our shoulder, and we're going to hit you with it. You know what I mean? That never say die attitude. You're going to have to nail us to the canvas to get us to quit. You know?
Yeah. Do you think it's little bit about the upbringing? You know, like being on the streets and working class people, and it has the fact that you're a great fighter has got to do with you're having to fight your way in life as well, or would that be an incorrect statement?
I've seen it, especially in boxing. I mean, I would have a lot of very well-known boxer friends in my personal life, whatever else, who popped around to the gyms and have conversations with them, whatever else. And I feel like I was saying, if you came from like a rough background or whatever the case may be, it just teaches you that adversity. That if someone who comes from like an affluent background, or whether it's say a silver spoon in their mouth, kind of whatever else, if it comes to them easy, they take it for granted. Whereas you have to, if you have to get up and you're like, you haven't got 2 quids in your pocket to rub together, you know what I mean? And you don't know when your next flight's gonna come in. You don't know if that check is gonna bounce, all that kind of stuff. That shit, it toughens you. You know what I mean? It calluses your brain.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I interviewed Bernard Hopkins. I'm not showing off, but I interviewed Bernard Hopkins on this Insta Live, and he said to me, "It's very hard to fight when you've got silk underwears on," and it's a saying. He's saying that. He says, and he's one of the greatest boxers of all time. Won a title at 47 years old. Unbelievable career. Been in prison, learned to box in prison.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's saying it's hard for a rich kid to be able to win because they haven't got that hunger. They haven't got that. They don't have to fight. He's even saying with people like Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, it's hard for them to go to the pound for pound #1 type status because they don't have to fight. And neither of them have got there, for example. But yeah, it's interesting that you say that, if you've got that hunger, you have to fight. You're hard to beat, aren't you? You're going to be hard to beat when I have to win this fight to get here.
Well, that's it, because it comes down to your, that like quote where it's like, what's your why? Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have to get punched in the face for money, well, why are you? You know what I mean? Like, as in, if you're out running the streets at 5:30, 6 a.m. in the morning and it's pissing rain into your face and you don't genuinely have to be there, you don't have to do those things because your life is cushy behind the closed doors. Yeah, why are you doing it? You know what I mean? It's like, and that's what gives people the competitive edge, in my opinion. You know what I mean? It's like, what is your why? Why are you here if you don't necessarily have to be?
Yeah, because it's funny, like, to be honest with you, like, we've all had it in training camps. Fighters have it all the time where you're like, oh, why am I here? What am I doing at the top of this hill at this time? Or why am I getting punched in the face on a Sunday? Everyone's had it. Everyone's had that. Any fighter has had that feeling of, oh, do I need to do this? But it's all worth it when you let your hand raise and you do your entrance walk and you excel. Now, listen, you've got 2 belts, right? And already 2 fights, 2 belts. That's incredible. Did you win them?
2 fights.
What's that, sorry?
3 wins, 2 fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky to, when I first started doing crossover boxing, the influencer heavyweight division wasn't really stacked. In my opinion, it's still not. If you look at, like, let's say, obviously the benchmark is Misfits or whatever else, but their heavyweight division is a ghost town, for the want of a better description. You know what I mean? And I came in entry level with the ICB. Who obviously your guys' show works with the PBA this Saturday as well.
Yeah.
So I've been working with those guys both promotion wise and as an athlete over the last year and a bit. And I won the national title here in Ireland. I've been lined up to fight for an international belt since last March, trying to find a suitable opponent. But the hard thing is, everyone's a crossover boxer now.
Yeah.
But they're not influencers or crossing over from fucking anything except boxing. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest gripe with this whole fucking scene is what are you crossing over from? Because if you're crossing over from boxing, you're just a boxer.
Yeah.
Which, by way of virtue, means you shouldn't be in this league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have the other side thing is like you got guys who aren't crossover fighters buying 100,000 followers for 80 or 90 quid and being like, oh, I'm an influencer boxer. Who are you influencing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, the thing is like, my last opponent had 2.2 million followers and was like all over World Star and stuff. Why should I fight someone who works in fucking Asda and has 30 followers?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I'm nationally known myself in my own country.
Yeah.
And then promoters wonder why these people don't sell tickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Common sense.
Yeah. Well, actually, you see guys that are, you know, grassroots fighters selling more tickets than guys with massive followings. And it's not always because their following's bought, but it's things like, you know, if I get a guy from Coronation Street to box on our show, a guy from Coronation Street, he might have 250,000, you know, followers, but his followers are housewives that aren't going to go to a fight, you know. And I went to Misfits in Troxy in London recently, and it was half empty, and it wasn't fighting men in the show watching it. It's like TikTokers, you know, creative arty fighty guys in the crowds. Like I've been to fights like, you know, I just went to Yard versus B2BF. I went, you know, been to things like Groves and Frotch and Hay and Klitschko. And I'm telling you, I've been to a lot of these big fights. AJ and Usyk I went to, and there's fighting men in the crowd, like fighting men in the crowd. Yeah. And so sometimes a lot of guys that are content creators, their following aren't interested in going to boxing. You know what I mean? They like watching the content, but they're not fighting men. And even if you give them a free ticket to the fight, they'll be like, oh, it's cold. I'd just rather stay in and play PlayStation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I had a conversation with a well-known food reviewer here in Ireland who has a fantastic following for reviewing food.
Yeah.
And we came down to talking about a potential purse for him to appear on a fight card. And I just had to lay it out and be like, yeah, okay, you have X, Y, and Z on TikTok and fucking Bebo or whatever the case may be, but they're watching to see what food place they should go to the weekend.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily want to see a box, bro.
Yeah.
So unless you're doing £5,000 worth of tickets for an event, you're not worth £5,000 for a fight purse.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? It's the same thing as that Troxy card you were speaking about. I was offered a fight on that 10 days notice.
Yeah.
But the hitch was I had to sell 100 tickets at £68.70, I think they were, if my memory grants me the. So £68, 10 days notice, 100 tickets, easy math, $7,000, right?
Yeah.
So, but there was 6 homegrown fighters from London on that card, couldn't sell out the Troxy, which is a small venue by Matchroom standards.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've boxed there myself, Troxy, and it's like, it's quite a hard place to fill out because also where it is as well, you know, like it's like East London. It's not easy. It's not easy. And also 68 quid's quite a lot for boxing, you know.
It's like you said earlier, like it's a blue collar middle class sport, really, at the grassroots level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Yeah.
Especially, like, and then you have the backing of the streaming service, and like if it's, you know, weather shit, or you don't want to be getting the tube, or you don't want to travel or pay for a hotel, you are going to watch it at home. So it is very difficult to get bums and seats these days. I completely agree with it. But I think a lot of fighters are over exaggerating their worth when it comes to boxing promotions. Yeah.
So 3X Boxing, which we just talked about, you know, I'd love to see you fight on that show, actually. That'd be absolutely brilliant. So I'm do the media for them. I do a lot of the commentary and the press presenting and face-offs and stuff. And what they do is they tend to blend it. So it's influencers and pro boxers. Because you get some pro boxers, like, I won't name names, but I know some that just carry like 300 people every time they fight. No matter when they fight, they just do 300, 400 tickets. You know what I mean? Like, so there's some of them just have ridiculous following. I heard about a fighter the other day. He's just doing like 2K in tickets on his own. That's what all the time. You know, I think he's on Matchroom. Might be Matchroom.
But that's like that guy. I think I might be speaking about the same fighter. I can't think of his first name, but I think his surname is Heaney, and he hand delivers the tickets himself around Stoke, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think.
And he just lost recently. And how I know about this is because his cut man Andy is my cut man.
Oh.
But he hand delivers the tickets to all the punters. He chats them to their front door. They feel like they know him, and they're buying into him as a product and him as an athlete. And they're following him on his journey, but they feel like they're being taken along with it. And I love that personal touch. You know what I mean? So,
that's lovely as well. But we also see like influencers where their sponsors will just buy up a couple of 100 tickets. So there's actually no one going. You know what I mean? They just say, look, I'm going to sponsor you. So what I'm going to do is just give you opportunities. There you go. Here's a 200, you know, I'll buy 100 tickets for you. You know what I mean? And so actually when you get there, there's no one there, but the tickets have been sold. Do you see what I'm saying? So you're getting sponsored.
The money side of things makes sense.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere suffers.
Yeah. So you see a lot of that. And, you know, even like in Saudi, we're seeing it like the money's massive out there, but the crowds aren't going, you know what I mean? The crowds are small. There's not a huge, brilliant environment. Great some fans. To me, I love it. Like the whole idea of the whole Saudi league, but some fans are like, oh, it's not boxing. Like they're watching it like they're at the cinema. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to go to that last card because I would have a good relationship with Ando Kakachi, and obviously he was fighting Joe Cordina.
Yeah.
And I had a ticket to go for it. And what put me off initially was the 90-page immigration fucking travel visa thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm quite heavily tattooed. Don't know how that's going to be well received. But my ticket for that event was €17.
Yeah. Do you know a flight out there is only about 180 quid?
Yeah.
Return to Saudi.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you can get them from London, 180 quid return.
Yeah.
Probably get an Airbnb, 25 quid.
I don't know if I would like a boxing atmosphere out there. You know what I mean? It did seem a bit dead.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? So that's what I mean. The money's there. And this is the thing that we just talked about. The money's there, but the atmospheres might suffer. Let's just talk about your punch power, because you have got some heavy hands, and I've not seen you fight live, and I can still feel those shots when I watch him on video. Like, honestly, you're really heavy-handed. And in your last fight, you absolutely flattened the guy like a pancake. Like, literally, you were rolling him over like he was a bonus ball on the lottery.
Yeah.
Is there a key to your punch power?
I competed as a power lifter at a national European level when I was younger. So I walk around at like maybe 260, but I diet. If I go in a fight camp, I diet for like 6 to 8 weeks. So I fight at about 252, give or take. And that's 252 at like 12-13% body fat. I'm 6'1". I don't lift weights at all anymore. I literally just boxed. I think my last camp before, obviously, I was in the accident. I was boxing 5 days a week, just all footwork drills, all that kind of stuff. I brought Idris Virgo over to do a workout with me.
Did you? Yeah. He's a strong bugger, isn't he?
Idris is a good person, man.
Good guy, yeah. Really like him.
And it's just a case of like, you know, the power and the muscle was already there, but my coach, Tony, I've been working with for the last few months. Like, he competed as an amateur heavyweight, and he competed as a pro also, and he's just teaching me to break down the biomechanics of getting my shots away, but in a way that I'm not tensing myself up, so I'm not getting tired, so that when I am hitting, it's like all very lax. You know what I mean? So I'm not timing.
Yeah,
that's it. You know what I mean? So basically, learning the sweet science. You know?
Lovely. Talking about learning the sweet science, would you say you were born to fight, or are you completely learning to fight?
I don't know, man. I only took this up like a year ago or whatever. I've been a fight fan all my life. You know what I mean? Like, my dad would watch boxing, but he'd never watch mixed martial arts, you know? And even like Steve Collins versus Eubank back in the day, my dad was at that. And then I went to the premiere of the movie. They did a documentary movie for that recently here in Ireland.
Yeah.
I went to that, and I said to my dad, oh, tonight I went to the premiere for that movie. And he was like, yeah, well, I was at that fight. I still have the ticket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've been around and watched boxing for years, and it's something that's always fascinated with me. and I've always been drawn to the training of it. I love the mental aspect of it, and you know, like in the trenches with your training partners, the sparring partners every day in the gym. That's what grabs me. I'm not really into the, you know, you get the pre-fight nerves, I know the trash talk and all that kind of stuff, but I'm addicted to the training side of it.
Yeah. Keeps you out of trouble, keeps you feeling good.
Absolutely, 100%. Stop drinking Guinness and eating shit food.
And listen, think how you feel in fight week. You feel absolutely amazing, didn't you?
Yeah.
Listen, couple of quick fire questions before I let you go.
Yeah.
One word answers where you can. One word answers where you can. Fury or AJ?
Fury.
Favorite fighter?
Terence Crawford.
Good shout. Have you ever been dropped?
Never.
Hardest sparring partner?
Anyone from Pete Taylor's gym in Dublin.
You got to cover it.
Yeah.
Favorite fighter of all time?
Andy Lee.
That's a good shout, isn't it? That's a good shout.
He's a good personal friend.
That'd be my uppercut or overhand right?
Overhand right.
Las Vegas or Saudi?
Las Vegas.
as always, I knew you was going to say that.
That's the real fight capital.
Vegas, baby. Let's just talk about your promotion. So you're involved. Actually, I don't want to take the words out of your mouth. You're working into a promotion, aren't you? You're working on a promotion.
Yeah,
can you just tell us a little bit about it?
UCC here in Dublin. So
it's UCC, isn't it?
Where I started. That's where I had my first fight. It was the brainchild of Ben Williams, who obviously fights for Misfits. Then a couple more of us came on board to help with it operationally and stuff like that. And yeah, we're trying to. Currently, obviously, I'm taking one step back due to injury and all that kind of stuff. But I do feel like it's a breeding ground for influencers and crossover fighters to get seen, because it has quite a large audience. It's got a lot of international recognition, a lot of international fighters wanting to come over. And, like, you know, we'd spoken to a bunch of Misfits fighters. I was talking to even Minicon, who fought here in Dublin before that fight was announced, possibly me and him fight on UCC, stuff like that. Obviously, next week they've got Brendan Kelly and not Logan Paul and stuff on the card, who have all featured on Misfits promotions already. So, I mean, it's just another avenue for fighters. Plus, a lot of international fighters want to visit Dublin too. So it's the same as what you guys are doing at 3X. It's just another door for these guys and girls to get seen and hopefully get on bigger platforms, you know?
Yeah.
And because obviously myself and Ben have fought in America and in Saudi, or in Dubai, and then obviously with Misfits or whatever else, we know how the shows should look and how they should be ran. And that's, you know, we're kind of just like doing our own version of that model.
Yeah, 3X, I would say, I think they're more trying to position themselves as like a UK Misfits rather than a stepping stone, because there's quite a lot of, well, not quite a lot, there's a few sort of stepping stone platforms now in the UK.
Yeah.
There's a few sort of smaller content creator ones, but again, they find, you know, it's difficult selling tickets sometimes for some of these sort of content creator shows. Do you know what I mean? Like we spoke about earlier, it's quite difficult because when you get like sometimes really young lads, like sometimes like, you know, 19-year-olds, and they just haven't got the money. I hate to say it, but they just haven't. I don't want to sound bad, but they just haven't. 50 quid is like, oh no, I'm not going to that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and so it's a real fun. And then you got the whole following thing, like, oh, they're just not fight fans. Oh, you know, this guy's just good looking and he's got housewives following him. You know what I mean? They're not going to come to the boxing. Xavier Johnson, yes, Gunman, respect, big up to that guy. It's difficult for those shows. Whereas I'd say 3X are getting quite established guys on. So the main event on Saturday is Beeman and Tommy Hench. They're both Beeman's a ranked 8 heavyweight, as you know him quite well, and Tommy Hench is a well-known, you know, Brummie brawler. We've got Pro Boxer on the show, who's you know, big in influence world. Bash Fakuri, who's a no rules fighting legend. So yeah, the platform is it's the first show, it's an inaugural show. So and we're building to bigger things, but yeah, no one holds fighters exclusively. We know that, not even Misfits lock people down like Top Rank or
of course.
I mean, like Top Rank or Boxer or Matchroom. You're very rarely locked down. But of course, we're looking to attract big fights and good fights and really bring some good fights back to the UK. So it's a really interesting time. It's an absolute honour to be involved in it, and it's a real pleasure to. I'm going to be doing the weigh-in tomorrow, hosting the weigh-in tomorrow, and I'll be commentating on the fights on Saturday. So
I'm looking forward to tuning in, man. I mean, that Beeman and Tommy Hench fight has been coming for a hot minute, so I'm looking forward to tuning in.
Yeah, make sure you get the pay-per-view, Mr. Burke.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. You know what? To be fair, me and Beeman have been linked together for the longest time. And I have a lot of time for him and his coach Lee. So I do, when he's fighting my DKM or obviously on Saturday night, I'll be tuning in to show some support.
Who do you fancy to win our main event?
Beeman.
You think he knocks him out?
Well, I've seen Tommy Hench's last fight, so.
Yeah, but listen, one punch at that sort of, they're both big guys. They're both big guys.
Yeah, but I am a betting man, and I'm gonna put my money on Beeman.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Everyone has an opinion. I mean, like as I said, I think everyone's got a puncher's chance at that weight from cruiserweight up. We've got Hassan, who is one of the 3 ex-directors. He's saying my guy Wesley. I forget my name's Wesley. Everyone calls me Gunman these days. I'm so used to. Yeah, I'm so used to being on Instagram now that I call people by their usernames. It's a bit sad, that, isn't it?
I think the whole tattoo community operates that way.
Yeah, what they go, there's Blunt Ink. And you're like,
I call Blunty all the time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I have to like otherwise I'll call you Blunt Ink. And the thing is, when I read out the comments as well, I'm reading out always usernames and stuff. So I'm just like, and so people always just call me Gunman Boxing or Gunman, and because of my channel name. But yeah, listen, we'd love to one day see you on Free Xboxing. It'd be good. You're taking over. You're making a storm in the influencer world for sure. And I know that you're quite wanted. Quite a few people are looking to fight you. I don't know why.
I'll leave you on this as well, right?
Go on.
I never got into this from money or fame, because God knows tattooers get looked after financially. I got into this for guts and glory, and that's fucking it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, if the fight is right, the date is right, then who knows? There's a PBA ICB international belt there that needs to be put on some show. So maybe we'll speak to Michael over the weekend and see if we can do a 3X down the road. Yeah,
that'd be absolutely brilliant. And Hass is in the group here. I'll introduce you to this brother. What a fine gentleman. And yeah, definitely you should have a chat. You guys, good people need to be speaking with good people. Last question I'm going to ask you before I let you go. Who is on your hit list?
Oh, man. If I had a quid for every fighter I was linked to fight, I'd probably have about 11 pounds. But
who do you want to fight? Who do you want to fight? No money, not money and negotiations not involved. You can have one fight. Who would it be?
I'd love to fight Chase Moore if he doesn't want it.
Yeah. What about Jake Paul?
Oh man, Jake Paul's he's 50 pounds lighter than me.
Yeah, because he's a cruiser. How much are you weighing?
252.
So what's that kg?
116.3 or something.
I was thinking 112. Yeah, 116. Oh yeah. So you're quite a bit. Oh, you're much bigger than him. Well, yeah, but he's like, it's 95, isn't he? 95. But it's just yeah, huge difference.
You know what? To be fair, anyone in the heavyweight division, anyone that makes sense. I mean, I'm currently ranked 5th in the world with the ICB. I'm a national champion with the ICB. Any one of the top 10 that makes sense. I'm, as a fight fan and an athlete, I'm sick and tired of seeing fights that don't make sense. Like, I'm sick and tired of seeing champions defend their belts against debutants. It makes no sense. And I'm telling you, October, that MF heavyweight title belt is being defended against a no-name as well. So watch this space. No offense to, what's his fucking name? What's that kid that fought Tempo last call? He was supposed to fight Beeman.
Oh, Ben Knights.
Oh, Ben Knights. 14 punch Knights, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't give a good account of himself. I know him personally that he really was upset with that performance, and his coach were really upset with that performance, because he did train really hard for that fight. He just got there and didn't let hands go.
It's just a case of like, there's more to being an athlete than eating big British fries and trying to have a punch up. You know what I mean? If you don't understand what a clinch is, you don't belong in a boxing ring.
Yeah, you got to use clinching all the time. Like especially if you're under pressure, it's a great way to just tie up your opponent, make up some space, get your composure back, and go again, isn't it? You know,
boxing takes place on the inside and the outside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Spot on there.
But I digress. Yeah. Any one of them can get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, thank you so much for your time. I don't want to keep you too long. It's been an absolute pleasure. Listen, anytime you are in London, we've got a show on. Definitely try and come along. But yeah, as I said, as a fight fan, I'd love to see you fighting over here. It'd be fantastic.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll be tuning in Saturday night. I cannot wait to see the debut show. I'm looking forward to the main event, and I wish you and all the staff the very best for the first show.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Burke. You are the man. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Take it easy. Good night.
Find yourself, bro. Thank you.
Take it easy, my G. What a guy. What a guy.